Hi everyone! In this video, I'll be going over a sentence error called fragments. Which sentence is correct and why? Number 1. Michael Jordan, the best basketball player of all time. Number 2. Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time. He's one of my favorite basketball players, so we'll be using him in some of these examples. Which do you think is correct? The second one is correct. Why? The first one is missing an important thing, the verb, okay? To have a complete sentence in English, you have to have a verb. Let's review what you need to make a complete sentence. Basically, there are 3 things. First, subject. Second, verb. And third, a complete thought. Let's look at those examples again that we saw earlier. Let's focus on the one that's correct, the second one. We have the subject, Michael Jordan, the verb is, and the complete thought, the best basketball player of all time. So it's a complete sentence. This one was missing the verb. So remember, you need those 3 things to make a complete sentence. So fragment is basically an incomplete sentence. And there are different types of fragments. Maybe it's missing a subject, a verb, or missing both the subject and verb. A fragment might be missing a complete thought, or missing an independent clause. And I'll be talking more about what this is later in the video. We'll actually go through each of these 5 things together. What's missing in this sentence? Jumped high into the air. I don't know who jumped high into the air. I have to have a subject. He jumped into the air. In some languages, the verb is enough. You don't have to have a subject. But in English, you put the subject before the verb in statements. What's missing in this sentence? Michael Jordan into the air. Here I'm missing the verb. Michael Jordan jumped into the air. So you need a verb in an English sentence. What's missing in this sentence? In a crowded stadium full of fans. Michael Jordan made the shot in a crowded stadium full of fans. In this one right here, we're actually missing a lot of things. This is only a prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is something with in, with, on, to, and the object. That's what makes it a phrase. But we don't have the subject, we didn't have a verb, and we didn't have a complete thought. I didn't know what was going on in the crowded stadium full of fans. So I added, Michael Jordan made the shot in a crowded stadium full of fans. So we need to complete this sentence. This right here is a fragment. It's just a long prepositional phrase. What's missing in this sentence? Michael Jordan made. Well, what did he made? Michael Jordan made a shot. Or Michael Jordan made a slam dunk. He jumped up and grabbed that basket and slammed the ball through the basket. Here I was missing the complete thought. I didn't know what he made, what he did. Now you try. What's missing in these sentences? You might want to pause the video here and try to fix them yourself, and we'll go over it together. Number 1. There an earthquake yesterday afternoon. What's missing here? It's missing a verb. There was an earthquake yesterday afternoon. Number 2. Didn't feel the earthquake. We didn't feel the earthquake. I don't know who felt it. Here we were missing the subject. Number 3. The earthquake caused. The earthquake caused some damage to houses. Here I was missing the complete thought. I needed to finish the sentence. I don't know what the earthquake caused. So here I needed an object. Note, sometimes writers use stylistic fragments, but in general, you should avoid fragments in academic writing. Here's an example of a stylistic fragment. She left the house with her house slippers on. So silly. Right here, I don't have a complete sentence, but this is a conversational sentence. I want to emphasize that this person is silly for walking outside with the house slippers. So again, in college writing, we usually don't use stylistic fragments, but they do exist. They're not always incorrect. It just depends who you're writing to, whether it's formal or informal or conversational. Let's practice some more, or let's actually learn some more about fragments. What's wrong with this sentence? The tree that I planted 3 years ago. Is this sentence correct? Actually, it's another example of a fragment. This is a dependent clause. The tree that I planted 3 years ago. But my thought is not finished. I don't know what is true about that tree. It's actually missing an independent clause. The tree that I planted 3 years ago is in my backyard. I need to finish that thought. Let's talk a little bit more about what a dependent and independent clause are. Some sentences have dependent and independent clauses. They're called complex sentences. You need both to have a complete sentence. You need the dependent and independent clause in these complex sentences. Here are some examples. When I woke up, the sun was shining. I have my dependent clause with the subordinating conjunction when I woke up, the sun was shining. I need both to make it complete. If I just put a period here, when I woke up, I don't know what happened after I woke up. You need both clauses. I was happy because the sun was shining. Here I have an independent clause. I was happy. An independent clause is a complete sentence. I was happy. But then I added a dependent clause. Because the sun was shining. You can't have a dependent clause by itself. You need both. I was happy because the sun was shining. The person who helped you is my sister. In this case, my independent clause is on the outside of a dependent clause. The person who helped you is my sister. My dependent clause is who helped you. This is called an adjective clause. It's a type of dependent clause. It's describing who the person is, the person who helped you. Altogether, this is like the subject of the sentence. The person who helped you is my sister. But I need to finish. I need to finish the sentence. Who is that person? The person who helped you is my sister. I have a subject, the person, a verb, is, and the complete thought, my sister. Let's go back to that sentence we saw earlier. The tree that I planted 3 years ago. I need to finish it. I need to finish the independent clause. The tree that I planted 3 years ago has a lot of lemons now. So what I did here to fix it is I finished the independent clause. The tree has a lot of lemons now. There's my independent clause. So you got to finish your sentence. When I planted the tree. Let's fix this sentence. I need the independent clause. When I planted the lemon tree, there weren't any lemons. I added an independent clause. You can't just leave a dependent clause alone. You have to add an independent clause. When I planted the lemon tree, there weren't any lemons. How can we fix this sentence? Because I like to put lemon in my food. Here I have a dependent clause. I need to finish it. I need to add an independent clause. So I'm going to put a comma here and finish it. Or you can put an independent clause at the front. I planted a lemon tree because I like to put lemon in my food. So here I only had the dependent clause. So I added an independent clause to the dependent clause. I planted a lemon tree because I like to put lemon in my food. Let's summarize. Fragments are incomplete sentences because they're missing something. Missing a subject, missing a verb, missing both subject and verb, missing a complete thought, or missing an independent clause. Learning to correct these errors will help you improve your writing. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.